Hey, Quails, welcome to the small little intimate chat.
Hey, what up? I usually
Yeah.
just lurk, but hello.
Yeah, we were hoping to maybe have some other people have some conversations. And that's what I used to do when I was at 24/7 in the other room. You just welcome people, you know? And then sometimes they feel comfortable to talk. How come you just lurk?
Uh, I don't know. I just don't talk a lot in general. And I don't know. I just like to listen in and hear, all the different conversations.
So you are a skeptic. That's good. Are you
Yes.
are you working while you're listening?
No, I fell off a roof a couple of years ago and broke my feet, and so I've been online a lot more since then, and also just collecting insurance payments. So I haven't really had to work.
Oh, man, are you okay now?
Yeah, I can walk and yeah, I deal with a fair amount of pain, but I'm grateful to be able to walk and all that.
Oh,
Construction's a dangerous job, bro. Like people don't really consider the dangers behind it. They think, oh, there's a ladder, just go ahead, climb up the ladder and, don't think twice and, it's foolish, man. Like we've we've got to take safety into concern and it should be prioritized a little bit better. I mean, I'm not saying that you weren't safe. I'm just saying like so, I'm assuming you were doing some construction up there.
Dice Law
And
wants OSHA to mandate you when you step to wear a harness when you step on a step stool.
yes. Yeah, safety, safety, safety.
Yeah, I think I was definitely not being safe. I was very comfortable on roofs. I was a tree climber, and I was changing out a rain gutter, and I was 2 stories up, and it was just one moment where I just wasn't, I lost my balance, and that's all it took, man. And then, yeah, fucking a.
You're lucky
wow.
it was your feet and not like your back or your neck or your dick or something.
Oh, thank God, it wasn't my dick.
Jeez. Gosh. I mean, so you fell straight down. That must have been terrifying.
So like I lost my balance and basically like I got to a point where I just had to commit. I knew it was happening, and so I'm like looking down. It's fucking 2 stories down to the pavement, and so I just kind of righted myself, straight with the edge of the roof, and as I'm falling, it's like slow motion, and there's like a bunch of tools down there, and I'm thinking, how am I going to land? And but I landed and tried to break my feet, or tried to break my fall, but broke my
If
feet.
you had one of those Indiana Jones whips, bro, you probably could have survived that.
Yeah, man, I think about that type of stuff.
Wow. So was there anybody there to help you right away, or you like did you have to sit there by yourself for a while?
The company owner, the guy, my boss, he was right next to me on the roof. This 60-something-year-old man, he watched it all happen, and when I landed, I didn't feel any pain. I thought I was totally fine, and then when I tried to stand up, it was just like pain shot through my body, and so I sat down, and when I pulled off my shoes, my feet were just totally like disfigured. They didn't even look like feet.
Oh my gosh. And he had workers comp or something?
Yeah, thank God. I had 4 jobs at the time, and he had workers' comp. So at my one job, I happened to be covered by workers' comp, and it covers you for all of your jobs.
I mean, yeah. So that was your workers comp, or you said your boss had it, right? Because my brother's a general contractor, and when if his guys get hurt or whatever, he's had like I don't know a couple of things. You're just it just the price goes up more and more and more.
Oh yeah, he's not doing good. His business really suffered after that, and he got all bugged out. I feel bad for him, but also just grateful that he cared enough to have the insurance and when I fell, like he scooped me. He literally like picked me up like a baby and put me in his van and drove me to the ER.
Yeah, I bet that was very troubling for him too. You were right there, but like safety, Daiso's got a point. You said you climbed up trees and stuff like that. The tree guys, that's a really dangerous business.
Super dangerous. Yeah, I don't recommend being an arborist to anybody. Really, it's only a matter of time till you mess up your body in some way.
Well, that's why we let the illegals come over, bro. You know,
That's true.
they're replaceable, bro. I don't even think they get broken, bro. They just
Not enough.
I can agree. I worked on vegetable and fruit farms, and I worked with a lot of Mexicans, and those dudes are just built different.
yeah, they bounce a little bit more off the ground. So
Okay,
I
all
think
right.
that kind of helps.
Jeez. Quail, so how long have you been questioning the shape of the earth?
It's Quais, by the way, but
Oh, what is it? Oh,
Quais.
that's the
Yeah, and it
Quaid,
doesn't mean
Quaid,
anything.
it looks like
More
an
like
like a
L,
Quaid.
sorry,
rectangle.
Quays.
But
Puerto Rico, right?
the first time I heard someone even question the shape of the Earth was in like 2016, and I was on a farm, and there was this guy Jay from New Jersey that he was all on Infowars and all the conspiracies, and he was going on and on about flat Earth, and I just I thought he was just nuts.
You said
Um,
Jay from State Farm.
Jay from New Jersey, from a
Okay.
farm I was working on. But yeah, so I'd say I didn't really question it until 2020, or yeah, until really start questioning it until 2020. I don't know what caused me to question it necessarily. I mean, I've always been into questioning the narratives for 20 something years and reading all the crazy ideas about what could be possible. And at this point, man, I mean, I think it's too fishy. Like with all of the NASA stuff, I mean, how can you not question, you know, what's going on there?
Did you watch the latest Blue Origin launch with all the ladies?
The bachelorette party?
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw a bunch of stuff about it. It's just like, I mean, that just seems like it's trying to bait. I mean, it's so fake that how could you believe it?
It's so fake. It's got to be real, right?
Well, I heard a little take on it. They're like, they didn't even care if it's fake. We're still talking about it. Like they're trying to do like a mass, hypnosis of some sort or something like that.
I don't know. It's like in your face at this point, like taunting. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Keep exposing it and then move on.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are like that. That once the idea has just gotten people's minds, it doesn't even matter if it's true. It's just more of a like a almost like ritualistic kind of programming or something.
Hmm. Yeah, like maybe trying to make you numb because you're just like whatever. Here's just another one. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that all these events they achieve like multiple things. Like they're there's the whole tranny thing involved as well. I think. Like I mean, a lot of people have been pointing that out. But I think that all these events, they always work on multiple levels. They're achieving many different things in one fell sweep. Swoop.
Hmm. So, uh, have you done anything? Meaning, like, do you talk to your friends and family about the shape of the Earth? Or
Oh yeah, I do. I do keep it somewhat to myself as far as people and I don't know. Like my roommate, there's just I don't there's certain subjects I just don't even go on because I'll be considered a crazy person. Um, but other than that, yeah, like with my girlfriend, I mean, she's all up on it. You know, she questions it, um, and I don't know. I don't think most of my friends really question it that hard.
They just don't care, right?
Yeah,
Like
I think for a lot of people, it's hard to imagine how such a thing could possibly be pulled off. But like when you read like what has happened in the last 100 years, with just the programming, the media, the Rockefellers and their part in the medical establishment and the education system, and just how entrenched we've become in the last 100 years. It takes a lot to like understand that, like how we could possibly get to this point. But when you do read about it and you see what has happened with Hollywood and how easy it is to like fascinate the human mind and control humans, I mean, it's not all that hard to believe.
why do you think they're doing it?
I think that these are like the people that run NASA are Luciferians. I think a lot of it has to do with just mind control. And I don't understand what these people necessarily are trying to achieve by controlling the human population, but it's sort of their it's like science has become the new religion. And so they're kind of shifting these more localized um, brainwashing programs into a more globalized system. And I think that the whole NASA, space fakery is just part of that, part of the globalization and kind of this new religion that is both like eugenics. It has to do with the digital age.
Yeah, the mass surveillance coming, transhumanism, maybe.
Yeah, transhumanism. That's certainly part of it. Uh, I don't know. It just seems like they want these people, these Luciferians or whatever they are. They want complete and utter control over the human spirit.
Well said, because I believe that too. But I just have a different slant to it. I believe we're in a spiritual battle, and they're trying to change the creator's creation.
Yeah, totally. Like inverting natural law, and yeah, it's just like you look at the world and how everything is inverted, or at least it's inverted when you look at what like anything in the mainstream.
Hmm. Hey, let's welcome Gate Breaker and Taking Back Eden. Welcome to the small intimate chat.
All right, thank
Andy,
you.
welcome, Andy.
Yo,
What's happening?
And he's hot micing.
I was just arguing over in chill chat over on the Flat Earth 24/7, and I don't know. It's just I just left in good grace. I don't know. Maybe you inspired me, Blaze. I was like, look, I don't want to argue with anybody, and I basically just I thought, Elia, could you open your mic over there? Were you having problems? Because well, if he's not there anyway, he private messaged me and sort of asked me to get him to. I think you need to be verified over there still. I'm not sure if they need a check-in situation.
Where?
Over at 24/7.
Oh, I'm sure you probably do have to be verified. We used to have to verify people.
I didn't. I just dropped in the VC. I never even
you-
went through that check-in process thing.
Ever? How long?
No,
How long were you there? Anyways,
I just dropped straight into the VC and started talking straight away. And of course, I have some quite extreme views in many different areas. They were like, he's one of us, basically.
I think if you're signed up on 23andMe, it automatically vets you.
What's 23andMe? I'm assuming it's a gay thing.
It's genetic database.
Oh,
So
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I were arguing with him because they claim in electromagnetic things. Electromagnetic is why things fall, and you've heard it all before. But I was just arguing with them a little bit, and why? Because I sort of shouted out Dell, and the reason I shouted out Dell is because it made me look into the laws of motion, and I always thank Dell for that because I thought I knew a lot more about it than I actually did, and I was just offering them the rebuttal of basically, if you change the charge, then it should fall differently, and it doesn't. And I kind of left it with, because I made a cup of tea, and I was like, look, does everything fall at the same rate in a vacuum? And it's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. I just sort of mute my mic. I'm like, I'm going to make a brew. And then when I came back, I was extremely gracious, and I was like, look, I'm sorry if I upset anybody. But there was one guy in there just burping on his mic, and I was like, "You listen, just mute your mic. We don't need a burp for everybody in the VC. Thank you." So I had that sort of attitude with it. I was on my soapbox, is what I'm saying, Blaze.
You know, the arguing situation is like, gosh, do you want peace sometimes? Do you want to just like be right all the time? I mean, there's a time and place for it, right? I mean, we are on Discord. I just think there's a time and place for it, but sometimes it's like it's nice to be gracious and just go, okay, you
I
know.
feel a lot more peaceful because when I went to make my cup of tea, I did feel very stressed out just arguing with them because I felt like I were arguing with very rational people, right? Because if these are basic physical, this is why again I shout out Dell because he's doing basic demonstrations that anyone can do, and he's showing where forces are and where they are not. For instance, when something's in free fall, and to deny it, I don't know. It just gets my back up a little bit. It's like anybody can do this. You could literally download a fucking accelerometer, excuse my language, on your phone, drop it, and you see that it's registering zero. But I don't know.
Who's Dell?
He's a Scottish guy. His channel's called Beyond the Imaginary Curve. But when I shouted him out, they then went on to this total straw man that I was advocating for the Earth moving up, which I absolutely wasn't. The reason I shouted Dell out is because it made me go and look into the laws of motion, because I knew a lot less than I thought I did. Right? That's basically what I was saying, because I was saying, having looked at all the little different things in flat Earth, and there's so much to look at, I'm leaning towards the globe. And so I thought they would, but no, all of a sudden I'm advocating for the Earth going up, rising, It's like, no, don't misunderstand me. So it's very sly and crafty, people, the things they do, because it was when I was like, I'm good to make a cup of tea, and then I sort of put me on mute, and then as I was leaving, it's like, so he thinks the Earth's moving up. Oh, fucking, what an idiot! It's like, no. The point is, we need a reason for why things are falling to Earth. So,
Could you post his channel?
yeah, sure can.
That'd be interesting.
Taco Bell is better.
What is?
I was just saying Taco Bell's better than Del Taco.
Dork.
God, he hasn't made a video for
Ew.
ages, so he's not in my list. I'm gonna have to actually type it in.
Taco Bell. Stopped eating that for a while. It was kind of my favorite for a while there. I love tacos.
You gotta get the Mexican pizza.
I don't eat there. I don't eat at fast food anymore. I don't know about you guys, but like I'm getting grossed out with food. Just I don't even know what to eat sometimes.
You gotta switch it up, Blaze. Sometimes you gotta go to like a different ethnic culture.
Um, okay. Well, I'm just talking about in grocery stores, everything, they're changing the names of stuff. It's just like poisons everywhere. And like I live in Florida. There was like blue skies for like the last almost 2 weeks. And everybody's like, "Yay, that bill for no weather modification." I go, "Did you read it?" I go, "They're busy getting their permits." They're like, "What?" I go, "Yeah, you have to get a permit to spray the skies." And sure enough, they started spraying yesterday. Stinks.
Yeah, wasn't there a whole thing in Florida where they banned it or something like that?
They didn't ban it. You had to look, you have to read the law a little bit, and it says basically you have to get a permit. And if you don't get a permit and you're spraying, it's going to cost you $10,000. Like okay, so you're cool with them poisoning everybody, but you just want the government to make a little money. Okay, cool. But then I saw like Peggy Hall. I love that channel. She's basically saying the FAA owns, up the skies essentially, so it doesn't really matter.
Peggy Hall's legit.
Love her. She had me stand up during the whole mask thing and everything. I didn't wear one, and I was like, I would walk into a place and they'd be like, "Ma'am, you need to wear a mask," and I'd be like, "Oh, thanks." I would keep walking. "Thanks so much, I appreciate it, but I'm not able to." And this one time, I was going into this store. Actually, I have a video. Um, and I tried that, and then the guy's like, "Ma'am," I actually came around because I already had some stuff in my cart, and then he's like, "Ma'am, you need to put a mask on." I go, "I'm sorry, but are you?" He goes, "Yes, the store manager." I go, "No, the store physician." And I go, "What's your name?" And he wouldn't give it to me, and I thought I was videoing, and then, he was corralling me up to the front. By this time, there was, like, a bunch of, like, other customers, like, "Did you see the sign? Da 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 da," and the girl behind the counter is calling the police and everything, and I'm like, "Not everybody can wear a mask." And anyways, long story short, the lady behind the desk, the counter, she's like, I'm sorry, but you can go ahead and go shopping, complete your shopping." And I was like, "Thanks." I wasn't trying to. So the whole point was like about 10 people got schooled, but she gave me the courage and the information to be able to stand up and do it. You know, I like her.
Yeah, I was right there with you, and I was in California during all that bullshit, and was one of the only people that refused to wear a mask. Like, it was just crazy. Like one out of every like 300 people that or less.
Yeah, and it was really funny. I went on vacation with my brother and his wife, and he said, "I'll pay for your ticket." I was like, "Oh, all right." He goes, "I'm going to use my points." I said, "Okay, cool." He goes, "But you have to wear a mask." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, no problem." And then, so I'm not wearing. And then his wife, we were like, I don't know, a day or two before, and my brother's like, "You're going to wear a mask, right?" I go, "Yeah, on the plane." And then his wife was like, "What do you mean on the plane?" I go, "That was our deal." So I didn't have a mask on walking through the airport. I was probably I didn't really see that many other people, and we went to a couple we had one other stop, didn't wear a mask going through that airport, and then on the way back, no mask, and then my brother stopped wearing his mask, and then I get off the plane, uh, in my hometown, and it said, like, "You have to wear a mask, but, children under 3 don't have to wear a mask, and there are exceptions if you go to the website." And on the website, one of the exceptions was if you could keep 6 feet distance. I'm like, "Wow." I don't know. People
What a bunch of malarkey.
but, like, you know what, like, my brother, he was like, "You you have to go in it's somebody else's business, so you have to do what they say." I go,